The Thorn Trilogy in the Halloween franchise is a fan favorite, and there's good reason for that. So today, I want to talk about 8 things that went right with the Thorn Trilogy. Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to talk to you guys about what went right with the Thorn Trilogy. Now, I asked you guys if you wanted to see another video like this, and you overwhelmingly said yes. So I think I'm going to start this as a series where I go through certain timelines in the Halloween universe and talk about what went right and what went wrong. But today, we are focusing on what went right. Now, if you need a quick refresher, the Thorn Trilogy is Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers. That's not the only movies in this timeline, because technically 1 and 2 are still canon, but I'm focusing solely on this trilogy. So the first thing they got right in the Thorn Trilogy was the character of Jamie Lloyd, and specifically Danielle Harris's performance. Look, it was not common to have child actors be very good, be able to anchor and carry an entire movie. Danielle Harris does that in Halloween 4 and especially in Halloween 5. To be able to capture fear at such a young age and be able to do it so well and really sell it to the audience is a testament to the performance that Danielle puts in. I prefer her in Halloween 5 because I feel like it's actually more difficult for a child actor to do this while spending half of the movie not talking. You have to act through your facial expressions and body language, and she does a fantastic job. But she's great in both movies. Furthermore, I just think the character is a really good idea. See, Halloween 2 had established that Laurie Strode was Michael Myers' sister, so then it just became that Michael was after his family members, right? Well, if Laurie's out of the picture, why is Michael coming back? For another family member. I like the way they wrote Jamie. I love the way Danielle played Jamie. I think the fact that our protagonist is such a young child adds that much more suspense and tension in these movies. Now, touching briefly on Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers, that was a pay dispute why Danielle didn't come back, and Jamie Lloyd gets barely anything to do in that movie, whether it's the producer's cut or the theatrical cut, but I still don't think that J.C. Brandy was bad in the film. I think she was just a bit part, as Miramax told Danielle, and she did a good job with what she had. But really, it was about Jamie Lloyd in 4 and 5, and I think Danielle knocked it out of the park, and the writers gave us a damn good character. The next thing they did right was capturing the town of Hadenfield. Now, I think this is across all 3 movies, in different ways at times. See, specifically in Halloween 4, from the very beginning of the movie, those opening establishing shots really feel like the Midwest in the fall, and it really sets a good vibe and a good tone for the rest of the movie and really the rest of this trilogy. This rural farm town that's kind of on the outskirts of nothing. That's what Hadenfield is. Halloween 5 has elements of that as well, with the Tower Farm specifically, reminding you that this is a rural small town. And the same goes with Halloween 6. Throughout these 3 movies, using the same locations or locations very close in Salt Lake City and the surrounding areas really helped create a continuity between the 3 of these movies. And it really does feel like this very small lived-in town. And I think they captured that perfectly. Now, whether it's the band of rednecks in Halloween 4 that decide they're going to take up arms and take out Michael Myers, or whether it's the close-knit teenage friend group in Halloween 5 that ends up at a party where shit goes wrong, or whether it's in Halloween 6 where the town gets together to celebrate bringing back Halloween to Hadenfield. It feels very much like the kind of town that we were always told Hadenfield was. The next thing they got right, and this may be somewhat controversial, is Dr. Loomis. Now, I say that because a lot of people take issue with Loomis in Halloween 5, but I personally don't. So, Halloween 4, this is where Loomis would be, naturally. He does not believe that Michael Myers is just going to rest forever. No, he is not surprised at all when Michael breaks out and he is on the loose again. He knows exactly where he's going and he knows who he's going after. Loomis has been through this before, so he's much wiser this time around. He also really does not give a shit at this point. Like, he doesn't care who's in his way. He's going to get to Michael Myers and kill this guy. That's what he wants to do. In Halloween 5, it's a very similar progression. After the events of Halloween 4, after already having been in that frame of mind, and Michael's still living. He's just completely off his rocker. And he says, I do not care. This guy needs to die. And I love that. By any means necessary. That's the Loomis we get in Halloween 4 and Halloween 5. And then in Halloween 6, when Donald was sadly very sick, and you can definitely tell, he gets involved when he fears that Michael Myers is back because he cannot help it. It is his purpose. As long as Michael Myers is alive, as long as that evil persists, Dr. Loomis will persist after him. And I love that. I love Dr. Loomis's progression in these three movies, and I think Donald is great as always. Actually, some of my favorite performances of Donald Pleasence are in the Thorn Trilogy specifically. The next thing they got right is the supporting characters, and I mean that really largely across the entire trilogy. Look, in Halloween 4, a lot of people love Rachel Carruthers, and I get called a hater. I'm not a hater, I'm just not huge on her. But she's fine. You get Brady, and a lot of people love Brady. You get Kelly Meeker, who doesn't love Kelly Meeker, okay? In Halloween 5, you get Jeffrey Landman as Billy, and he's a really good friend to Jamie. You get Tina. I love Tina. I don't care what anybody says. You get Sammy and Spitz, who they're goofy and stupid, but they're perfect for a 1989 slasher movie. Like, they just feel like, oh yeah, we have to have these kind of characters in this type of film, especially in that era. Halloween 6, you've got Beth, you've got Tim, you've got Barry Sims, and you've got Tommy Doyle. You've got a lot of really great characters across these three movies. They make these movies that much more fun, and they're a lot more enjoyable because no matter who's on screen at any given moment, it's interesting, it's exciting, it kind of draws you in. And oh my God, I would be remiss if I did not mention Bradford English as John Strode, one of film's greatest asshole fathers ever. Look, the point is, across this trilogy, there are great side characters that really help elevate these films and make them the fan favorites that they are. You get Bo Starr as Sheriff Meeker, who, in my opinion, is the best sheriff in the Halloween franchise. Right up there with probably Brackett from Rob Zombie's movies. Because let's be honest, Charles Cyphers in the original Halloween and Halloween 2, he's a bad cop, okay? I mentioned that they got the town of Hadenfield right, and they did, but to a larger extent, they got the atmosphere right. The fall aesthetic and the vibe. Look, I said the opening of Halloween 4 really sets that for you. The sequences in the Tower Farm and at the party at the Tower Farm really do that for you. And Halloween 6, everything to do with the campus rally, and really just any nighttime shot feels and looks like Halloween. Look, a lot of the Halloween movies really nail this, which is why the ones that don't are especially egregious, because it's like, dude, you had one job. It doesn't even have to be a good movie, but it has to look and feel like Halloween. Well, I'm happy to say the Thorn Trilogy, all three movies really do look and feel like they take place in October in the Midwest. And now I mentioned this in the Blumhouse Trilogy, but I'm going to mention it again here because I feel like it is super important to capture that Halloween, that October vibe and aesthetic, and they do in the Thorn Trilogy. The next thing they got right is the kills. Look, the Thorn Trilogy has some of the best kills in the Halloween franchise, point blank, like bar none. Bucky's kill, although not super insane, super memorable. You've got the thumb through the forehead with the paramedic in Halloween 4. You've got Michael's death in Halloween 5. John Strode's death in Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers. I could go down the list. There are some of the best kills in this series, in this trilogy. And I'm not saying all of them age as well as the ones you're going to get in the Blumhouse Trilogy. Absolutely not. But some of the more memorable ones take place in these three. And I think it was important because Michael Myers is back and he's angry. He is out for blood. He has a very specific goal in mind, and he's going to knock down anybody that gets in his way. And I feel like at the time, in the late 80s, this was necessary. The next thing they got right is the suspense. They made Halloween scary again. Now, that's not to say that Halloween 4, 5, and 6 are scary movies front to back. No. But I think some of the most suspenseful sequences in the franchise take place in this trilogy. Look, I love the rooftop sequence in Halloween 4. Who does not love that sequence? It is fantastic. I absolutely love the laundry chute sequence in Halloween 5 and the wood sequence, chasing them with the car and then the way it's lit as Tina is looking for Jamie and then she's attacked. That stuff is just great. And Halloween 6, Beth and Tim's kill, the way that is shot and the way that that is drawn out and put in slow-mo is just super effective. There are a lot of moments in these three movies that bring back the suspense. See, Largely in Halloween 2, I felt like when they tried to do suspense, the scenes that were not shot by John Carpenter felt kind of boring. They didn't have that foreboding, that air of menace. I feel like it's back largely in these three movies. That's not to say all the kill sequences are suspenseful, because they're not. But I'm saying some of the high points of suspense in the Halloween franchise take place in this trilogy. And the last thing that I think the Thorn Trilogy really got right was the music. And it might be crazy to say that because all three movies have very different scores. But I love that, and I feel like they fit every movie. Halloween 4's is very synth driven. It is very different. It almost sounds higher pitched, but I love it. It kind of works, and I feel like it was very 1988. Halloween 5's announces itself in the opening with this elongated ambient kind of music playing before we really get into the theme as the jack-o'-lantern is getting carved. And I love that. Halloween 6 plays off of the 90s, the mid to late 90s with this electric guitar. And you gotta be in the mood for it. But when I watch Halloween 6, I'm in the mood for it. It's very metal. And I kind of dig that a lot. I think all three of these scores are great, but most importantly, bring back iconic music beats from the first movie, whether it's the Myers House theme, the Shape Stalks. I love those themes, and they're peppered throughout these movies. And all three of them are just different enough to where when you listen to the score, you're like, oh, that's Halloween 5. That's Halloween 4. And I love that. So look, Alan Howarth, I have to give a shout out. This guy freaking nailed it. So look, the Thorn Trilogy is widely regarded as a fan favorite. It's a lot of people's favorite trilogy in the Halloween franchise. It is probably my desired timeline, including the first and second film, of course. So it's no surprise that they got a lot of stuff right in these movies, and they definitely did. Now, as I said at the beginning, that's not to say there weren't missteps, that they didn't shoot themselves in the foot, because they absolutely did, and we'll get into that in the next video. But I think more of it works than it doesn't work. And I think that is why 30, 40 years later, you see these movies being held in such high regard still. There's something to be said for that. It's because they're damn good movies with damn good characters, a damn good score, and damn good kills. And it looks and feels like October in the Midwest. Sometimes it's that simple to make a good Halloween movie. And these three movies are largely pretty damn good. But I want to know down below in the comment section what you guys think they got right that I maybe didn't mention. Do you agree with the ones I did mention, or are there others I might have missed that you want to pinpoint? Also, remember, if you feel like I omitted something, maybe that's because I'm saving it for what they got wrong. So wait till that video. But whatever it is, I want to hear it down below in the comment section. So join me. Please leave a like on this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.